The Cod's Tail, Mark Kurlansky, illustrated by S.D. Schindler. The codfish. The Atlantic codfish is a large and ugly fish. It is often more than 3 feet long and has gray or brown skin, yellow or gold spots on its back, and an odd whisker-like feeler hanging from its chin. The cod spends its life swimming with its big mouth wide open, trying to swallow whatever will fit. It will even eat small young cod. It also eats things that are far less tasty. Styrofoam coffee cups have been found in cod stomachs. Almost any bait or object, even a fish-shaped piece of lead, can attract a cod. The cod's greedy appetite make it easy to catch. Enemies. If the young cod can stay alive for the first year, they will now be big enough not to fear other fish that swim above them. The cod can swim up and eat smaller fish or dive back to the bottom and eat mussels and other shellfish. As it is one of the larger fish, few animals will eat the full-grown cod, but they still have 2 deadly enemies. One is the seal. Seals love to eat codfish, but they do not like the bones, so they bite the cod in the belly and throw the rest away. The other, more deadly enemy of the cod is man, or humankind. People eat almost every part of the cod. Some think the head is the most flavorful part, especially the cheeks and the part under the chin that is sometimes called the tongue. People also eat the eggs, stomach, and liver. Oil from the liver is given to children because it is rich in vitamins. Most agree the oil has a horrible taste. In Scotland, cod liver is stuffed in cod stomachs and called crappamuggy, a name that sounds as unappealing as the dish itself. In Iceland, they grill cod skin and serve it with butter. And long ago, when the people in Iceland were very poor, they sometimes soaked cod bones until they were soft and ate them too. The continental shelf. It is easy to imagine that the ocean is full of fish, but we only think that because fish live near us, close to the land. Most fish live on continental shelves, the part of the land that extends from the shore under the ocean, in some places for only 20 miles and in others for hundreds of miles. In that shallower water, sunlight helps tiny sea organisms grow and become food for fish like cod. Crossing the Atlantic Ocean from America to Europe, a boat sails past many fish when it first leaves America. Then, once it goes beyond the North American continental shelf, it may go for days without being near a fish. As it gets closer to Europe, approaching the European shelf, fish appear again. But in the northern part of the globe where cod live, the continents are close to each other. Britain is close to Iceland, which is close to Greenland, which is close to Labrador and Newfoundland. The shelves of these landmasses are even closer, and the water is cold. Since cod live on shelves and like cold water, this is the one place where the ocean can be crossed without ever being far from cod. Vikings. Between the years 800 and 1100, the Vikings left their homes in Norway, Sweden, and Denmark to travel farther than Europeans had ever gone before, throughout Europe and all the way across the cold North Atlantic. They were able to travel such long distances because they had solved 2 of the great problems of ocean travel. First, the hull or bottom of a Viking ship could endure months of pounding ocean waves because the Vikings overlapped the planks instead of just placing them next to each other. And secondly, they had food perfect for travel, dried cod. The Vikings learned to hang the cod in the cold, dry Arctic air until it was hard as wood. This tough, dry food had no fat, was full of protein, and would not spoil. The Big Secret. The Basques were probably the next Europeans to visit America. In the 14th and 15th centuries, most European fishing communities had heard rumors that the Basques were fishing in a land across the sea. The Basques lived in a small area of velvety green mountains with rocky crests that is partly in southwestern France and partly in Spain. But they are neither Spanish nor French. They have their own customs, traditions, and language. The Basques traveled far north for whales, and by about 1400 they found the crowded school of cod on the coast of North America where the Vikings had fished. By 1400, many of the Vikings had become Christian and had settled in various parts of northern Europe. The colonists on Greenland had died off, and the Basques had the waters of North America to themselves. They began to sell cod in Europe, the first to earn money from North American fish. Because the Basques were growing rich selling cod, they did not want to tell anyone where they had found this huge school of fish. They did not claim the land. They built no settlements, though they did have camps in the summer where whale fat was cooked into oil and where the codfish were spread open, salted, and dried. Then, in the fall, they loaded their ships with barrels of whale oil and dried fish that they took back to Europe to sell. Explorers. While the Basques were fishing secretly, other Europeans were exploring the world, often using sturdy Basque ships, hiring Basque navigators, and eating Basque salted cod. Christopher Columbus did all three in 1492 when he sailed west looking for a route to Asia and landed instead in the Caribbean islands. Columbus was an Italian whose voyage was financed by the Spanish king and queen. John Cabot, an Italian too, was also looking for a route to Asia. In 1497, Cabot landed in Newfoundland, which he claimed for Britain. Here he had stumbled across the Bass secret. His crew reported that the water was so thick with codfish that they only had to dip baskets in the water to scoop them out. Soon, everyone was coming to North America for the codfish. The Portuguese, the British, and the French all fished in the large cod schools off Canada. They reported seeing Basques. Some even said they heard local tribesmen speaking the strange Basque language. In the 17th century, the rich cod fishing land was divided between the two most powerful nations, Britain and France. The Basques protested, saying that as the discoverers, they too were entitled to a part of North America. All they wanted was the right to fish there, but they had never planted a flag, never made a claim, never told anyone, and now they had lost their fishing grounds.